Well, here we go. Obviously formation lap. Sometimes the guys forget and get overexcited on the start. Looks like everybody remembered this time round. A lot of weaving. Formation lap, for me personally, not my favorite. Very nervous time. For me, the only thing scarier than crashing is crashing at low speed. So going around on the formation lap, let's just have a look at our runners. Hopefully everybody is in order, otherwise I'm going to be reading gibberish. But first place we've got Flexi, he set quite an amazing lap time. Gavin wasn't far behind, just over a tenth of a second behind. Very nicely done. In third place we've got RZDV, like I've said before, fast driver, reigning champion. But hasn't had the best of luck in the first two rounds. He's spoke to him earlier before the race. He said he was hoping for a less eventful race. So let's hope he doesn't have too much action. We've got Muna there in fourth, is just weaving around, warming up those softs. Obviously once they're at optimal temperature, at the beginning of the race, you are going to lose some time on those softs. Everybody getting a bit jumbled up. Iggy in fifth, DW sixth, Little Piece seventh, Nizmax eighth. But Sean doing a great job getting up into the top 10. Fossey 10th. And a lot of cars getting disqualified. Not quite sure what happened there, but everybody's just reforming on the grid. Should be underway quickly. It's waiting for the final cars at the back there. When you're in front, it feels like it takes forever. It's quite annoying. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, pause, a long pause, and away we go. We head for that first corner. Gonna watch Flexi, he seems to have got a good start, got the line into the first corner. Gavin goes around the outside, nicely done. That came from nowhere. Very nicely done. He's in the lead for now. He was in the lead of round 2 for a couple of laps in the beginning of the race, but that was with damage. This time round, I don't think he has damage. So can he show his pace? And can he stay consistent? Because he showed his pace in qualifying. And if that's anything to go by, these top 2 should be inseparable. At the start, not a lot of moves, except for 7th place. We've got DNA Joe. We've got Josh. I wasn't aware he was taking part, but he's currently in 7th place, up 10 places. So obviously started last in 17th. Great start. I'm sure. The vet wasn't expecting, DW the vet wasn't expecting to see a yellow car up in his mirrors that soon. Probably trying to figure out who that is. Looking at the leader, obviously 136.4, it's the first lap of the race. It's followed closely by Flexi, Robbie in third, and if he wanted a clean start, he's got a clean start. Now he just needs to knuckle down. He's on those softs. So obviously has a different strategy, has a different idea of what he wants to do. And he just needs to stick to it. And remember that the guys in front of him, if they're faster, they're on a faster tyre. Got Munna going around in 4th. Iggy, he's in 5th. So at the moment, quite a showing for the Renault team. They wouldn't mind this I think they wouldn't mind this happening in a week's time in France. Both Renaults in the points. Very nicely done. 5th and 6th, but a long way to go, as you know. 100% race distance. That's going to be a total of 57 laps. So, can be quite grueling. I've done the 100% in the past, and I find that that last 15 minutes or so, it's I've made some silly mistakes in those last 15 minutes. Josh currently in 5th, doing a great job. They've both gotten past DW, and the Renaults are running side by side up the pit straight. Josh is going to take over the lead of that battle. So now you've got Josh in 4th, Iggy in 5th. The Renaults are really stirring things up here in the top 10. With Robbie calmly going around in 3rd. But he's going to be surprised to see 2 Renaults popping up in his mirrors, maybe one in each. And, well, he was hoping for an uneventful race. I'm not quite sure he's going to get that now. He's got what looks like 2 bumblebees swarming behind him. In 2nd place, we've got Flexi. He's right on the back of Gavin. He's right on the gearbox. He's got the DRS open. And it's going to be interesting. In qualifying, it seems like 2 drivers of very similar pace. How will that translate? How will that translate to race pace? We know qualifying pace and race pace are 2 very different things. So if you've got your car set up for that one fast lap, that doesn't mean you're going to have a fast car for 57 laps. So I think now your setup is going to come into play. Josh going fastest lap, setting a purple, a 1:33.8, nicely done. And he's running side by side with RZDV. RZDV lets it go, it seems. Not much of a battle. I know he's got more fight in him than that, but it just seems to me like he sort of let that one go. Maybe having too many nightmares from previous rounds. And just thinking, okay, go. Watching Iggy in 5th. He's going to be coming up on the gearbox of RZDV 2000 soon. And, well, if you didn't know there was a Renault team, Robbie just found out. Going down the rest of the field, the Red Bulls. Let's have a look at the Red Bulls. Got Nizmax. He's the top Red Bull at the moment. He's currently driving around in 7th place. And his teammate currently in 9th. So both Red Bulls in the points. Let's have a look at the Haas. Obviously we've got the lead Haas. 2nd place, Gav. He's doing a nice job. And we've got Timbo, 2nd Haas, also in the top 10. He's in 8th place. So some teammates doing a good job. Unfortunately for the McLaren team, they haven't had as much luck. Their other driver crashed in the first 2 rounds and hasn't made an appearance to the 3rd round. So be great to see him back in round 4, and great to see him on the points table. And I'm sure it would make life a lot easier for McLaren. Captain Nice, 9th, Springbok Gamer, going around in 10th, in the final points position. And since I don't have my co-commentator with me, I suppose I'll have to just say, in the lovely Force India. There we go, Wazzy. I hope you feel better. I hope your internet comes right. Where is it, your internet? No, it's not. Hey, South Africa. Let's leave it at that. In 11th, just outside the points, we got the judge. He seemed to battle his way through qualifying. Didn't even set a really quick lap in Q2 and fell out in, I think, 15th place. But seems to be coming right in the race. Showing some competitive lap times. Nice to see. And as I say that, I really shouldn't talk good about the drivers. I should have learned from Wazzy. As I say that, he spins around, loses the back end, and Jean and Little Peace take positions from him. Judge now in 13th. Not having the best of time there, Toro Rosso. Maybe waiting for better days at Toro Rosso, waiting for that Honda engine to arrive. The game's a little behind. The second Toro Rosso of the Munna, he's in 14th. Usually one of the quicker drivers in the field, so not quite sure if he hasn't tuned into the Toro Rosso or if he hasn't tuned into Bahrain. But not expected to see him behind his teammate. Got Fossey in the Ferrari, he's in 15th. And Pitt in the other Ferrari, he's in 16th. So not a great day for Ferrari at a track that traditionally they're quite strong at. Going back to the leaders now. Flexi, he's in the lead. He's past Gavin, and that gap is sitting at about 0.4 of a second. It's crucial that Gavin can keep that gap within a second. That'll keep him within the DRS zone. The moment you get out of that DRS zone, I feel that it's just too easy for that car to slip away. Now Gavin dropping back in a big way. Josh has gone past, and now this should be interesting. Two drivers of very similar pace. Josh started from the back. He's made 15 positions up so far. He's sitting in second, and I'm not sure a lot of people knew he'd be here. So, surprise. Nicely done. That's what you call a fashionably late entry. RZDV going around in 4th for the time being. Seems to be happy with that position. So obviously on the soft tyres, can't really challenge the cars in front on the faster tyres. They'll gradually get away. But then later on in the race, as that tyre begins to fall away, he should start to make up time. So different strategies. Difficult to know what everyone's thinking. First and second, crucially, Flexi and Josh, both on softs, as well as RZDV, also on softs. Very possible that all three have very similar strategies in mind. But Gavin is the man there in the top 3 with the odd strategy out. He's on the fastest tyre. But Iggy going around in the other Renault, he settled down, was also very quick at a stage. Settling down. Now in 5th. He's behind Robbie. EW in the first Force India, going around in 6th. He's had a clean season. Hasn't challenged for a win as of yet, but going through quite a transformation. A man who spent a lot of time on the controller, moving over to the wheel. Bit of a transformation. From each and every track you've got to learn little things. And moved down to 7th. Got the first Red Bull of Nizmax. Also going around on a set of super softs. Currently in clean air. we know this man can be quick, so got an opportunity to put some quick ones in. Didn't expect to see him in 7th at this early stage. In 8th place we got the other Haas driver of Timbo, having a good weekend overall. Qualified in the top 10 in all 3 sessions, and now running in the top 10 in the race, and a lot of time left to go. A lot can still happen. In 9th place we've got the other Red Bull of Captain Ice, also on a set of softs. So in total we've got 4 men on track with soft tyres, and probably all on the same strategy. It'll be interesting to see where everybody lands up. But at the moment I think that the Super Soft still has the superior pace. I think it hasn't dropped off just yet. Or I missed that. Come on board now with Gavin. He brakes late, outbrakes himself at the hairpin, runs wide. He was battling with Flexi, but just too much in the hairpin. Too much in the hairpin, but he'll be back. Those Super Softs now, they should be dropping off, making a last few lunges. He doesn't want these top 2 to disappear into the distance. But those Super Softs will begin to drop off, and maybe even the McLaren Honda will catch up. Robbie in 4th, not far behind, just 2 seconds down the road from Gavin. It'll be interesting to monitor that gap and just see if he's closing it. It'll give us a good indication of when the Super Softs are going off and when the softs are coming right into their own. Big Geek's still going around in the second Reynolds on the set of Super Softs. He's in 5th, followed by TnB DW in 6th, also a set of Super Softs. Most of that midfield running around on Super Softs. 4 drivers on the softs. That'll be Josh and Flexi, your 1st and 2nd. Robbie in 4th. An interesting Captain Ice in 9th. Maybe mixing it up with an interesting strategy. Be interesting to see what's yet to come. Let's see what sits beyond the top 10. These guys haven't got too much coverage. We've got John in 11th, going around on a set of Super Softs. He was actually able to maintain a top 10 position throughout qualifying, so he'll be disappointed to just be outside the top 10, just outside the points. Want to get a point for his efforts. But Munna, he's in 12th place, interestingly. Something obviously not going his way in qualifying. And one of the faster drivers. He's trying something different. He's on a set of mediums. So maybe looking to go 1? Is it possible? I'm not quite sure. You must forgive me. Wazzy, my co-commentator, is usually my all my strategies and tires, and he's not here today. But Fossey in 13, going around in the Ferrari. Not a good weekend for Ferrari. They'll be hoping for some improvement. Judge going around in the Toro Rosso, he's currently in 14. Also just battling with his wheel setup. Was listening to him practice the other earlier before the race, listening to him practice with huge noise over the mics, and obviously running his wheel on everything 100%. So really having a physical test here over the 57 laps of Bahrain International Circuit. Got Pitt going around in 15th was on a set of mediums, the other Ferrari. So it's just obviously starting towards the back and trying to stop as little as possible going out on the mediums. Not quite sure how long you could stretch those out. Then maybe finish off on the softs. Now would be a great time to text me, Wazzy. Surely the phone still works. I need strategy advice. Going back to the leaders, there's been a switch. Well, we've got Josh at the front, he's in first. Flexi in second and 2.8 seconds behind. Gav's in third. Robbie's still in fourth. Gavin just making one or two mistakes. I'm not sure if it's what he sees on his screen or what I see on my screen, but I see he's ran wide into a series of corners there. It's making a few mistakes. Maybe the super soft's not up to temperature, or sorry, maybe falling off a little bit. Robbie should be making gains. He's not though. 4 seconds adrift. Fortunately, Little Piece has left the session. Not quite sure what's going on there, but he is in the pits and he's left the session, so it's probably won't be coming back. Got a DNF from Death Seeker, so we've lost 2 drivers. 15 left, 15 runners left, and trying not to focus on why Little Piece left. Portugal, what are you doing? I'm trying not to look, and if anybody says anything in the comments, I will cut the stream. I do not want to know. Josh still going around in the lead. He's built that lead up to 3.1 seconds, having a great race. Literally started in last, 17th. Making it a bit difficult to put a vote out for driver of the day later if he carries on like this. How do you beat last to first? Flexi's in second, 4 seconds adrift. So Josh is pulling away, and he's pulling away mightily. That's 4 seconds. It's now 4.5, 4.8. So something's not right. Just going on board now with Flexi, looking for damage. I think there is damage there on the right hand side, if I'm not mistaken. On the right hand side, it's going to come into the pits. Going to have to change that. That's going to promote Gavin up into second, going to promote Robbie up into third. Not what he wanted. Championship leader had a spotless season up until this point, not having a fantastic time in Bahrain. Adjusting something there. He's coming out on a set of mediums. Does that mean he thinks he can take it to the end? I'm not quite sure. Well, I do apologize if my commentary is wrong. We'll know in a moment. My graphic says Flexi mediums. I'm riding on board with Flexi. I see softs, so unfortunately I don't really know what tyre he's on. Captain Nice in 8th. Flexi's come out in 7th, so 35 seconds now adrift of the leader, so that's really affected his race. Made the pit stop, had to change the wing, and now he goes past Timbo quite aggressively there, gets the inside line. There's no contact, but he ran out of room, had to give him the space. Flexi goes up into 6th place, needs to make up ground. Can't afford to spend any time unnecessarily in any battles. he catches up, he needs to get past and be on his way. He's already made one pit stop too many. Already altered off his pit strategy. Has promoted TnB DW up to 5th for the time being. Flexi's going to be hot on his tails, but the gap for now is comfortable. Going around in the lead, Force India for now. Iggy in one of the Reynolds, second of the Reynolds. Seems like the driver lineup got a bit of a shake-up. Josh usually in the Ferrari. He's leading in the Renault. So yeah, should be interesting. 25 points for a ghost constructor. Kevin going around in second. He's 7 seconds adrift of Josh. Josh has made the most of it. Just growing that lead lap by lap. Robbie's in third. Currently 5 seconds adrift of Gavin. Then we go down to Iggy, 4th place. DW in 5th. Timbo in 6th. Having a nice race. He's kept it clean. And other people's disadvantage has worked out great. 6th place, clean race. I think he'll be happy with this so far. Captain Ice in 7th. Currently the leading Red Bull. So Nismak's not having the best day. He'll want to get back up front. Try get into that top 5. Springbok Gamer, the other Force India, having a relatively good day, going around in 8th place. Obviously another one of our drivers that does not make use of the assists in the game. So I always like to point that out, that his 8th place can be a lot more difficult than some. So doing a great job, switching off assists over 100%. It's not something I would choose to do, so good on you. 9th place in the other Red Bull, we've got Nismax. He's on softs. Now trying to close that gap to Springbok Gamer and just work his way through the top 10. Another one of our fast runners not having the best day, currently in 10th, he's now in the points, and he's the lead runner, if you want to call it that, on mediums. So that's interesting strategy, could still come into play later on. Fossey just outside the points in 11th in the Ferrari. Pitt in 12th in the other Ferrari. So the Ferraris have gotten closer to the points, but they're not quite there yet. They'll want to improve on that. It's not something that Mario Rivabeni would approve of. Ferraris running around in 11th and 12th. It's definitely going to be a driver sit down after this. Looking at John going around in 13th, actually doing a great job. Running around in the Salva with the F1 Ferrari 2016 motor. So yeah, no, boys back at Maranello, and they're going to be scratching their heads as the 2016 Ferrari flies past the 2017 Ferrari. Definitely not what you want to see if you're sitting back at the factory. Just watching the judge currently, our final running car, going around in 14th. I do apologize, I see Flexi has retired. I missed that. I usually have Wazzy to help me here, and I was talking about something else and just didn't notice the action on track. And seems like our championship leader and winner of the first 2 rounds has said no more in Bahrain. That means Josh still in the lead, but it's promoted Robbie RZDV into second place, currently 14 seconds adrift of the leader, but finds himself in a very promising position going forward. Long way to go, approximately what, 39 laps? My math is terrible, so don't check me on that. Also promoted another driver, DW. DW now finds himself in 3rd place. Brilliant result for the Force India. They'd love to find themselves on the podium, legitimately. They found themselves on the podium last week, but that was as a result of... who knows what it was as a result of. But they found their way onto the podium, and apparently won by 74 minutes. But this time seems to be legitimate. They'll be hoping to be able to keep that sort of pace, keep that result. Long way to go. Gavin going around in 4th place and the first of the Haas drivers. He'll want to get back into a podium playing position. Very quick in qualifying. That's just not translating into race pace quite the same. RZDV now promoted into the lead. Something's happened at the front. Can't tell you what that is. I hope the guys have got some footage that they can send me to include in the highlights package. But I'm missing so much action on track. A lot happening around the track. Looking at the fastest lap time. Currently, the purple lap time is held by Gavin. That's a 1:33.4. And if I'm not mistaken, he did that pretty early on in the race. Very quick lap time, nothing really close to it now that I look down the field. 1:33.4, closest thing I can see to that is a 1:33.8. And that's by Iggy. And another 1:33.8 by Josh. So the Renault drivers really putting some great lap times in. Promising. Championship started without a Renault team. Currently Josh leads as Robbie dives into the pits. He's coming out of the pits. I missed the pit stop. He's going to rejoin the race just behind Iggy, the second of the Renault drivers. So having a look now at the pit stops. DW is sitting in 2nd place. He's yet to stop. He is yet to stop. That is something interesting. Really making those tires last. For some reason he does have a history for that. Just seems to be able to take the tires a little bit longer than some of the other guys on circuit. I once saw him take a set of mediums way too far, and ever since then I actually noticed that he just seems to be able to take tires further. Hasn't made a pit stop on lap 20. Another man who hasn't made a pit stop, Captain Ice, sitting in 6th place, the lead Red Bull. There's Max in the second Red Bull right behind him. The gap is visual, but Captain Ice has not made a pit stop, so that means when he comes in, Max will become the lead Red Bull driver. Only other man not to have made a pit stop is the man running in 14th place. Also on a set of super softs, making the tyres last. But just not finding the pace, and as I say that, he dives into the pits. So just the two men left out on track that have not visited the pit lane just yet. Josh running at the front, doing nicely. Got a set of mediums on, gap of about 5 seconds. Everything seems comfortable. Now the problem over distance like this is just when things get too clean, they can get boring, and you can just make a mistake just like that. But surely he'll be catching traffic and things like that, and there'll always be something just to keep him awake. As we join DW, it's going side by side with Gavin, is it? It is Gavin, going side by side, the Haas and the Force India. As they go into the first corner, nicely done on the switchback, but he gets the better exit, does the Haas driver, and he's got the move done. Nicely done. Gavin, quite a character on and off the track. Aggressive driver. And not someone I generally get wheel to wheel to, for two reasons. Reason number one, he's mainly much faster and up there somewhere. I don't see him, but when I do see him, I don't really like to engage in battle. He's quite the aggressive driver, but TW obviously just getting now to the end of the lifespan of those tires and not putting up too much of a fight. Just having a look at the front of the Force India, seeing if can spot any damage. Don't see anything. It just seems like Gavin has superior pace. Have a look at the tyre selections. Gavin on the softs, and DW obviously really stretching the life of those super softs, and should monitor this gap down to Iggy. It's currently 6 seconds. You can see how much time he is losing, or if he's still losing time. Probably going around in 5th. It's on a set of mediums, maybe hoping to get to the end of the race on that set. Fifth might not look great now, but I think provisionally he's in probably a 2nd or a 3rd. So having a good race. Needs to keep it clean and, like he said in his words, uneventful. I think they were. Or undramatic, or uncompetent, I don't know. There's Max now going around on the back straight. The Red Bull driver sitting in 6th place, getting a good position at the end of the day, considering where he was at a stage. So he's having a good race, coming up the field quite nicely. I can tell you Josh went over and set the fastest lap, but before I could tell you what the fastest lap was, Gavin has gone over the line and smashed it. So Gavin retains fastest lap. It's now a 133.2. Took that away from Josh, who had a 133.4. So we've got some fast drivers up front. But remember that Josh is doing those lap times on medium tyres. Interesting to see how the tyres mix up the pace, mix up the lap times. Force India driver TnB going around in 5th. Also relatively happy. Just got to now wait for things to unravel. Podium's not set just yet. Gavin's setting quick lap times, lap after lap. He's on a set of soft, so surely he needs to stop again. Can tell you Josh has just bettered that lap time. He's gone around in a 1:33.1. So trading lap times at the front. This time around Gavin can't beat it. So the man in front, Josh, in a Renault, on a set of mediums. Fastest car on track. Man in 3rd, Iggy, having a good race. I mean, too eventful, stayed out of trouble. Got interesting in the beginning when his teammate was coming through the order, but he's kept it clean. Finds himself in 3rd. I'm actually quite surprised to find him at the racetrack. Our Russian driver here in TnB. Obviously he's home country hosting the World Cup. Obviously not much of a football fan if he's here, but great to see he made the effort anyway. Russia 2018 is underway. 10 years since South Africa hosted their World Cup. With Spain winning that tournament. I think we'll probably have a different result this time around. Looking forward to when this race finishes, watching my delayed Portugal versus Spain broadcast. Getting back to F1. The front, not much has changed, but Josh leading, Gavin in 2nd, Iggy in 3rd, Robbie going around in 4th. Like I say, he's still got a strong position. He's on that set of mediums. He's got 2 guys in front of him, Gavin and Iggy, both on soft. Surely they have to stop again. So that could mean 2nd place. Depends how quickly Gavin is going though. Can Gavin make up enough time to make a pit stop gap? Looks like it at the moment. Muna also on a set of mediums, going around in 7th. Timbo in 8th, where he's been for most of the race. Just kept it mostly quiet, kept it clean. Going around nicely, picking up points for Haas. Haas in a strong position this season. We've got drivers who constantly finish in the top 10, constantly finish in the points, and constantly make an effort of showing up, which is what you need. Another team that's well represented is Team Red Bull, as we watch Captain Ice in 9th place. Also usually in the points. Well, interesting to see how the Constructors' Championship does land up at the end of it. McLaren not having a fantastic start to their Constructors' Championship. RZDV doing his best to fly the Honda flag, but unfortunately from the other side of the pit, we haven't seen any points or any finishes. So, like I said earlier in the race, it would be good to see you back next week, and hopefully you'll see the checkered flag. for McLaren's sake as well. Watch Springbok Gamer going around in 10th. The final points paying position. In the second of the Wazzy cars. Force Indias. A car I cannot drive because the steering wheel reminds me of candy. Running around in 11th, we got the Salva just outside the points. Jean spent actually spent all of qualifying in the top 10. So not a good feeling to just be outside the top 10. You want to get that point. Makes finishing the race feel that much better. Going down to 12th, just joined Pitt, who was off circuit, and now being caught quickly by his teammate Fossi. So the Ferrari's having a calamity of errors at the back, not having a good day. Fossi on the softs. Will be interesting to see what if the Ferrari teammates are in any sort of communication. Pitt battling on the mediums. Fossi going a little bit quicker on the softs. Will he simply let him go, or will he keep him there, at least for track position? It's all up to the teammates and whether they're in communication or not. We've got Judge. He's 2 laps behind. He's not having his best time, which makes me think he's probably switched off his anti-lock. I know he had it on briefly, and he's been testing it. Maybe just switching it off for the race and feeling the effects. Currently in 14th place. Just going through our retirements, we've got Flexi in 15th. Death Seeker and Little Piece 17th. So Little Piece was the first one to retire. Tired quite some time ago. Lap 29 of lap 57. Josh still leads. Comfortable lead of 8 seconds. He leads from Gavin. Gavin bringing that gap down just slightly. He's on the faster tyre. But by the time he brings that 8 seconds down to any reasonable sort of gap, will there be anything left in those softs? Same goes for Iggy. Also on a set of softs. Going around quite comfortably for now in 3rd place as Robbie does approach. 1.2 seconds down the road. And Robbie crucially on a set of mediums. So I think that will bring him right back into this race. Gap currently between himself and Gavin is about 15 seconds. So if he does make a pit stop, that will promote Robbie into 2nd. Be a great result. As our championship leader won't be picking up any points today. Obviously picked up 50 from the first 2, 25-25. Maybe just an opportunity for some of the guys to come back and balance things out. 2nd place here today for RZDV would be good. Had a 2nd place last week. So constantly in the points, high up in the points. Still looking for his first win as reigning champion. Maybe that will come today. Just takes one mistake, one error, one wheel off the car, and everything changes. Following the Toro Rosso in 6th place, Muna, set of mediums. I think potentially the guys that have got mediums on now, they could find themselves in an interesting position after the next round of pit stops. So all in a strong position. Say Muna on mediums, Nismax, and even Captain Ice. So both Red Bulls seem to be playing along similar rules, similar strategies. Gavin now continues to just bring that gap down. On the last lap it was 8 seconds, it's now 7.3, but is he bringing it down enough? Those tyres are going to run out, it's going to have to stop. And I believe the same for Iggy in third. Like I say, that will promote Robbie up to second. Just trying to work out this gap. And DW could also find himself on the podium when all is said and done. Not sure what DW is doing on his tyre strategy. I should have asked him when he was in the pits. Took those super softs for a really long time. Surely you can't stretch the softs all the way. Watching a helicopter shot now of Robbie as he chases down Iggy, as he chases down the final step of the podium. It's getting visually closer. Iggy goes a little bit wide into the hairpin. They go side by side down the back straight. Easily done with DRS. Can't believe I'm saying this, but the Honda flies past the Renault. Robbie promoted up to third. 23 seconds adrift now of the leader. And 16 seconds adrift of Gavin. Take my mathematics with a pinch of salt. Nice battle here for second. Iggy hasn't, for third, my apologies. Iggy hasn't quite given up on the podium just yet. He's keeping the pressure on in case Robbie makes a mistake and just pop back up there. Robbie in a strong position on mediums. I think it's where it's the tyre I'd want to be on at this stage. Obviously showing a lot of pace. He's keeping up the pace on the slower tyre. Going a little bit down the road to have a look what's happening here. Nismax comes out just ahead of Muna. Muna went into the pits. Nismax has come out just ahead of him on the mediums. It's crucial. Don't want Muna coming out in front of you on the softer tyre. You could just disappear into the distance. But now he's got a job in front of him of keeping that Toro Rosso at bay. Just behind the Toro Rosso we've got the other Red Bull driver, Captain Ice, also on a set of mediums. Similar strategy to his teammate, it seems. Maybe some communication there before the race. DW going around in 5th. Been there for a lot of the race. On a set of softs. Made the first set of tyres lap 20, lap 21 I think, on a set of supers. So not a bad job. Now on the softs, going to see how long he can take this tyre, and what is the plan. Take it deep and end on supers, or he couldn't possibly be thinking of ending the race on this tyre. Also has to concentrate on his fuel mix there, very low. He's obviously have to now consolidate a little bit of pace, get that fuel mix back up to a decent level. Looking at Iggy in 4th, Also fuel level quite low. I think the guy in the race with the strongest fuel level right now, from what I can see, in that top 5 would be Robbie. Very strong position on fuel. So, could be looking to end this race on a few laps of Rich. And interesting to go through and see everybody's different strategies, different ideas towards the same racetrack, different approaches to the same thing. And another man with a lot of fuel on board is Captain Ice. So guys playing different games, got different ideas of what will work. And the Ferraris just 12th and 13th. They keep fighting, keep going, in the hope that at the checkered flag somehow there'll be points. Timbo going around in 11th in the horse. Yellow tyres, yellow helmet. Munna just goes quickest, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:32. I didn't see that. What was that? Let's have a look. I can't find the fastest lap. There we go. A 1:32.4. Nicely done in the Toro Rosso. For a second there I was going to say closely followed by his teammate, but obviously just going past the second Toro Rosso driver, the judge, having a difficult day in the desert, under the lights, so not having the result he would have wanted. But if it is assists, these things will come with time. And there's no better place to practice than over 100%. It really burns the image of the track into your mind. Just following that gap between first and second, it's beginning to expand again. It's up to 9.1 seconds. So maybe the soft's starting to drop off there on Gavin. Maybe Gavin made a mistake. Gavin's still 9 seconds adrift there in second place. Further 16 seconds down the road, 17 seconds down the road, we've got RZDV in third place. He's in a strong position. He's got that set of mediums on his car. He's followed by Iggy in fourth. In the second, Reynolds. In fifth place, we've got TnB DW. 39 seconds adrift of the leaders. Also on a set of softs. And I'd really like to know what who's on what strategy, but unfortunately I didn't speak to enough people before the race. There's Max in sixth place. The Red Bull has had an interesting race. Found himself in the teens at one stage. Finds himself now in sixth. So he's come up quite nicely. He's far behind fifth. It's quite a gap. But I think if he could finish in sixth, that would be a decent amount of points and something he could go home quite happy with. Seventh place in the Toro Rosso. We've got the Munna doing a good job. Also a man who had a complicated night. Found himself down the order in the beginning of the race, and he's done a great job to get to where he is now. Going down to 8th place, Captain Ice. Also a nice clean race. It's been in the top 10 throughout for the better half. In the second of the Force Indias, doing a good job. Springbok Gamer, Mr. No Assists, holding it together on a track that can be quite tricky. Lap 37 of 57. Timbo, good to see Timbo back in the top 10. He's got that final points paying position in the second of the Haas. That puts both Haas drivers in the top 10. Sean running around in 11th in the Sauber. Just gut-wrenchingly away from that last points-paying position where he's actually found himself for a majority of the race. Can be quite frustrating. We look at the first of the two Ferraris. Having an interesting weekend. They've got their two cars running at the back in 12th and 13th. Fossey 12th, Pitt 13th. And their usual driver seems to be out on loan to Renault, and well, he's leading, so I don't know, bad loan call, I guess. And Ferrari should take some more time before making a call like that. Watching Josh now in the lead. Got a 25-second gap from Robbie in second. Coming up to some traffic, comes up onto the main straight, should pull aside, and does, so no real complications there. Just took 2 or 3 corners to pass him, but he was just waiting for the straight, waiting for the best part of the circuit to let somebody go by on. Sometimes it is the better option. Maybe hold someone up a tad for a corner or two and let them go where it's absolutely safe. Then try and let them go where it's not safe and potentially destroy both your races. Another good result for McLaren Honda. Second place. If they can hold everything together, it will be their second consecutive second place. So, good points here in Bahrain. The Haas going around in third place, holding on for now to that final podium spot. On the softs, got DW also on the softs. He's currently 11 seconds adrift of third place currently. Gavin goes through 132.4. So purple lap for now. And if DW wants to get on the podium, he's just going to have to get something extra out of that pink car. Maybe find the party mode. Or do Mercedes take that button off when they give it to Red Bull, to Force India? Iggy having a fantastic race in the Renault in 5th. Unfortunately missing round 2, which would have been his home race in Russia, in Sochi. Couldn't make it, but it's great to see that the issues that stopped him from joining a race a week ago are no longer at play. And he's here in Bahrain. He's running around in 5th. He's having a solid race. Max is in 6th, and he's about 20 seconds adrift of Iggy. He's on mediums, so that could potentially mean that Iggy needs to stop again, and that would promote Max. Really going to be interesting how the next 17 laps play out with the tyre selections that the guys have made. Who's going to try and go to the end, if anybody? Who's going to dive in with a few laps remaining and have a go on supers? So far a good day for Red Bull. Technically 3 of their cars in the top 10. And a great day for Renault with 5 Renault powered cars in the top 10. Springbok Gamer diving into the pits now on that. Again, my tyre graphics, I don't know which one is correct, so I don't even know if anything I've been saying about the tyres on this entire stream is correct. My what it says on my timing and what I see on the cars is 2 different sets of tyres, so it's okay. That time Springbok Gamer's got super softs, but on the previous set it was showing me mediums, and on the car it was showing me softs. He just comes out there, comes out of the pits and almost comes into the line of DW. His teammate gets out of the way. Not too much drama at the end of that. Just gonna have a look at DW's car, make sure there was no drama that I missed. On board, no damage there, everything looks fine. Great helicopter shot again as Iggy pulls away from a Ferrari that he's just lapped. And continues towards his goal of 57 laps. 15 laps remaining. When the guys begin to get a bit tired. Some guys only used to the 50% version of the game, not putting much time into the 100%. Just begin to feel it now in the last 10 to 15 laps. Make sure you don't make any mistakes, so make sure you don't throw it away after all this time, after all the work you've put in. Riding with the Haas now in 3rd place, Gavin. Not far behind Rob. He has stayed in touching distance. He's is he gonna get past? Is he gonna go for it? I think Robbie he really wants a clean race. And when he sees the Haas in his mirrors, I can imagine the sigh now. Probably hoping for a clean drive to the end of the race. Gavin has not given up yet. He's got other ideas. Robbie actually found himself in quite a battle towards the end of the last race, for actually a majority of that race, with Josh. And Josh was at Ferrari for some reason, and so yeah, told me he was hoping for a quiet, uneventful race, and he might just find his hands full here on the last couple of laps. Well, not exactly last couple, what am I talking about, 14 laps to go. Going back to see where the Red Bulls are, we've got Nismax in 6th on that set of mediums. I mean, a solid race, solid result. Muna in the Toro Rosso, counts as a Red Bull I guess. He's in 7th. And then the other Red Bull is in 8th. She's looking for the second Toro Rosso. Second Toro Rosso is in 14th. It's the judge. Not having the best day behind the wheel, but really great to see that he's holding on until the end. He wants the race finish. He's cutting the corner there a little bit. I hope he's not listening to me. If you're listening, break one of the breakpoint markers so I know. Then I can get off. I've actually spoken about 2 cars earlier on in the race that while I was talking about them, they ran wide or crashed. So obviously commentator's curse having some sort of effect. Even in the absence of Wazzy. And as I tune into Timbo, I see carbon fiber flash across the screen as Jean takes 9th place. Can't tell you what happened there. I missed it by a couple of frames, but as I joined I saw carbon fiber flashing across the screen. It's the end plate of the left hand side of the wing. Timbo now, he's got damage. He's on a set of softs, that will be annoying. Jean passes him on a set of mediums. Let's have a look if Jean has any damage. No visible damage that I can see. So it seems like Timbo came off second best there. Got a damaged front wing with 12 laps remaining. Fortunately he's been lapped, so I can't see the gap down to 11. But if it's big enough, he could pit, change that wing. At least have a comfortable last couple of laps. But if he doesn't want to lose that point, it's going to be interesting. Can he hold the car over this distance? Let's watch him as he goes into the line. Will he dive into the pits? Yes, he does. He dives into the pits. He's not driving around with that wing. Be interesting to see if he can sustain that point. No, he can't. Springbok Gamer flies past. He's not even stationary yet, and Springbok Gamer takes that point. Peter's also passed him. Just waiting for them to put on the wing. Feels like it takes forever. And he's on his way again. And he's going to rejoin the circuit just behind Fossey. Extremely close to Fossey, but just behind Fossey. In 13th place, outside of the points. That'll be disappointing. Spent a lot of the race, a lot of the start of the race in 8th place in quite a comfortable position. But finding himself in 13th with 12 laps to go. Definitely not the plan. Obviously not quite sure what happened there. When I joined, well, you saw what I saw. Basically, carbon fiber going across the track. John got the better acceleration, got 9th place, and unfortunately sent Timber to the pits because the car was just undrivable for 12 laps. Don't have footage of that, but obviously if there was anything wrong with the move or anything, you know, that you can send us your footage and we'll have a look. Currently going around in 9th place. He's got no damage, so whatever it was suggests to me it wasn't a big collision. That's promoted the second Force India back into the points. Currently in 10th place. And Timbo wants his points. He's passed both Ferraris. Back up into 11th. It's just trying to see what the gap is between 9th and 10th. I tell you, Josh goes faster, sets the fastest lap by quite some distance, a 1:30.0. Fantastic lap time. Can't see the time gap between. There we go. Josh and Gav, first and second, separated by 6.5 seconds. And we seem to have a battle here for third as we tune in on DW. As he comes up on the gearbox of the Renault, pulls up alongside, he's going to go around the outside. Iggy gets the better line down the inside. Not quite yet, but the intention is definitely there. He wants a podium. He's desperate to get that interview. Really wants that interview. And he's not going to let Iggy have it. Obviously just behind DW, while he's trying to focus on Iggy, he needs to just keep an eye on the mirrors. Robbie right there. Nicely done. He thought about it and then he backed off. Thought, let me get DRS down the straight. I'll give it another go at the end of the straight. Goes up alongside the vet. DW chooses to defend the inside. And he's got him. Nicely done. Late on the brakes. Super late on the brakes. And he goes back up into 4th position. This is great. Great driving. Great driving from both of them. What that has done is it's allowed Iggy to just get a 1 second buffer. Just get a bit of a gap. 1.3 second buffer now. Now it will be interesting. Will Robbie get back to the job at hand? Start chasing down Iggy? Or is he going to have his hands full with DW? Is DW finished? Or does he have more? Chooses not to activate DRS down the back straight. Maybe they didn't see he had it available. And this battle for third is definitely not over. That final step of the podium is all but decided. TnB DW currently in 5th. RZDV 2000 in 4th. And Iggy holding on to that final position on the podium. But the two drivers behind him, I can tell you, they're not going to let that go. They want that position. Gavin's had a good race. He's in 2nd. Had a clean race really. I think everything basically went according to plan. Maybe just didn't have all the pace to answer Josh. But besides that, I think everything's gone according to plan, and 7 laps remaining. Josh has been blisteringly fast, and Gav is only 11 seconds adrift, so I think in the bigger scheme of things, it's a great result for Haas. Disappointing for his teammate. In 12th place. Looked like for a long time we were going to get a double points position for Haas. At the moment, looks like Gavin will be flying the flag for Haas, and RZDV will be flying the only flag for McLaren. Apologies for the silence. I sound like a Le Mans commentator who just disappears. So I don't have my co-commentator to fill in all the blanks. As we watch DW, he goes down the back straight. Still running low on fuel. So just running it at its maximum, giving it everything it's got. Robbie now on the supers, just closing in on Iggy, reeling him in. He's got DRS activated, but not this lap. Still too far away to even think of it. Now getting closer, and as they approach the second DRS zone, it'll be interesting to see, very important, how they come off that hairpin. Whoever gets the better traction out of the hairpin, and considering Robbie's got those supers on, it could just be enough to make the difference. As I say that, they go through the hairpin, Robbie activates DRS, they fly down the straight in front of me. And not quite yet. Just being patient. He knows he's got 5 laps to go. He's on the faster tyre. And really the car in front of him can only slow down. It's only going to get better. So if he doesn't get him now, patience. Try again in a lap's time. DW has since dropped off a little bit. Still in 5th place. Gap to 6th is a safe one. 14 seconds. But maybe just not on the right tyre compound at this stage of the race to really challenge. But I think if he brings home the Force India in 5th place, that will be a good result for the team. Toro Rosso of the Munna currently running around in 6th, beating both of his Red Bull compatriots. So that's obviously something that Christian Horner will like to have a word with his drivers about. One day if Red Bull and Toro Rosso have a promotion demotion program that I don't know about. There's Max going around in 7th. Not far behind, just 6 seconds down the road from the Toro Rosso. And then a further 9 seconds behind, you get the second Red Bull. Captain Ice running around in 8th. doing the distance for the points at the end of it. Second Force India in 9th place. So it seems like the two Red Bulls, two Force Indias, both in the points. Our only running Salva is currently in 10th. Again, I don't know if you can see it on your screens, but on my screens that Salva clearly has a set of softs, but my timing screen says mediums. So if anyone in the comments will just let me know if they're seeing the same thing. Having a period here with all the cars with the host. Not quite sure who the host is today. The usual host? I think it might be the usual host. Not sure, but we just had a period there of a couple of corners with everything jumping around. And also I did panic a little bit. It seems like everything is stabilizing. Robbie now goes for the inside on Iggy. There is a bit of contact. He slows down to let Iggy regain the position. He doesn't want to get it that way. He wants to get it cleanly. There's damage there. I think that's damage. Definitely got damage on the left hand side to that front wing. Just have a look at the condition of Iggy's car. I see no damage on the Renault. It'll be interesting to monitor the gap over the next couple of laps and just see can Robbie keep the pace. He's currently in DRS. But just seems like he downshifted a bit early there, maybe just backing out of the move. Force India of DW carries on in 5th. Seems to have just dropped out of that battle for 3rd that he was briefly in. Now blistering, starting to show up on his tyres. So obviously now just in damage control mode and look after those tyres for the remainder 2 laps. Last thing you need is a puncture. It's a long track. You get a puncture in the wrong part of the track and it's a long way back to the pits. You watch Robbie now as he goes around in 4th. He's still going to have a chance at 3rd. I think it's going to take a mistake from Iggy. Because he has been compromised. He has that damage. Still managing to stay in the crucial 1 second DRS zone. Doing a great job driving around with the broken wing and keeping the pace. Obviously the super softs making up some of the difference. DW really taking it slowly there through that corner. See, just saving the tyres now. Looking at the back tyres, at the front right heavily blistered. That gap down to Munna in 6th place is a comfortable one. about 30 seconds. So being ever so gentle into the crucial braking point on the first corner there. Has to really nurse these tyres home. Seems like Horsey has unfortunately left the session with what, 2 laps remaining. It's not what we want to see. A lot of Ks driven, a lot of work put in, a lot of practice, only to leave in the penultimate lap. Difficult now, want to follow the leader who's on the final lap, but I need to keep an eye on 3rd place. So Robbie hasn't given that up just yet. It would take a spectacular move. I don't know if he's got a spectacular move in him with that broken wing. So keep an eye, where is the leader? Leader is going into the hairpin, onto the back straight. And this battle for 3rd is currently on the main straight. Gavin having a relatively quiet race. Just in 2nd place. I'm pretty sure that's my screen and not how he's changing gears. Sounds terrible. Something's wrong with that Ferrari. Just go back to the leader. As he goes around the final corner, he goes down the main straight, weaves left and right, slows right down, goes over the line. There's the fireworks. Josh wins round 3 in Bahrain. Fantastically done. We go to Gav in 2nd. As he goes around the final corner, he sees the fireworks too, weaves left and right over the line. 2nd place. Going back to 3rd. Seems like Iggy has it covered for the time being. Robbie's still there. There's a mistake at the final corner. He is close enough, but none of that. They go around the final corner onto the main straight. 3rd place for Iggy, 4th place for RZDV. Gonna go around and look for the W, who's running around on a set of tires that do not look good. He goes over the line. He brought them home. Timbo is left on the final lap, but he did finish the race. That's everybody over the line. It's a great race. Josh started in last. I think driver of the day has to go to Josh. Started in 17th, worked his way up through the field in the opening laps, and won the race. He won the race from Gavin. Did a great job in the horse. And Iggy making an appearance for Reynolds, and Reynolds having quite the weekend. Just waiting for the podium celebrations. And look at that. 2 Reynolds and a Haas. That would be an interesting result. And with the French Grand Prix coming up next week, it would be a dream result. Great job to Josh, Gavin and Iggy. All 3 of them on the podium. And Iggy had to fight for it at the end there. Just going to have a run down the top 10 one final time. Josh winning the race, doing a great job. Gavin in 2nd, Iggy in 3rd, so 1st and 3rd for Reynolds. RZDV flying the flag for McLaren there in 4th, DW 5th, Munna in 6th, Nizmac 7th, Captain Ice 8th, Springbok Gamer 9th, and then Jean rounds up the top 10. Nicely done by everybody. Congrats to everybody you finished. Congrats to everybody you got in the points. Right. Can we at least get the vet up here? Used to have a few words on the race from his perspective. What did you make of it?
How's it, Jonathan?
What were you doing with those tires? They looked terrible. Looked like you were trying to drive on water. What did you make of it? You happy with 5th?
Yeah, I'm happy with 5th.
Were you worried about the tires towards the end there?
Just the last lap.
Just the last lap.
Yeah.
I tuned in on board with you driving, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 laps remaining, and you were just going around the corner, and I wasn't sure if my screen was lagging or if you were just taking it that easy. And I think you were taking it easy.
Yeah, I was, because actually when I saw Muna was like 40 seconds behind me, I thought, no, let me just take it easy, just nurse the tires. Because it didn't have the pace of the guys, so I had to try something else.
We can, let me see if I can get Robbie in here. Maybe also get a few words. Let's see. Gav and Robbie. Okay, Robbie, stop hiding. There we go. Okay, well, I've invited them. Let's see if they make an appearance. Maybe just get their point of view on the race. It's a pretty eventful race, and Robbie almost snatched the podium there at the end.
I see it was behind Iggy. I tried to keep him and Iggy behind me, but I couldn't.
Welcome, Gav.
Starway was just severe.
2nd place. You happy with that? How was the race from your perspective? Anything you could have done better, or you happy with it? Spent a lot of time on your own. But happy with the 18 points. No, he was quick. But your lap times are very close to Josh in qualifying, and then not translating quite the same in race pace. Were you more set up for qualifying than the race, maybe?
Gav?
Seems like Gav is gone. I'm gonna move on to Robbie. Robbie, the race from your perspective?
Could have been better.
Made a lunge at the end there. Had a chance to go for 3rd. Bit of a collision, and then you clearly slowed down and let Iggy take the position back.
Yeah. Basically, no, if I feel it's my fault, I'm obviously gonna give way so the driver can go. But yeah, should have asked for better race.
Any word from your teammate?
No word from him.
I didn't see him crash in qualifying or the race. Also makes me presume he wasn't here. But I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm rambling and I don't have Wazi to help me. So we'll be back next week Friday around 4. The vet helped me out. What's next on the calendar? Terrible commentator. Terrible founder.
You probably, well, I'm just from the race, you know. I'm trying to steal someone's champagne again.
Well, I've been talking to myself for 2 hours, so give me a break.
Yes, yes. Okay,
I'm on
let me also
the
look at the
verge of,
schedule.
I'm on the verge of insanity.
Next one is Malaysia.
There we go. Okay, so join us next week Friday. We'll be back for round 4 in Malaysia. Make sure you join us. One of the last times you'll get to see Malaysia on an F1 game. We'll see you then.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, we're off.
Yes.
As ek mag vra, kan jy weave op die straights? Kan jy weave?
Wacht, ek het gewoon my chat so harder sit, dat ek sit het sagter gewoonlik. Sê weer?
Mag jy op die straights weave?
Nee.
Dis van kant na kant.
Wacht, ek het gewoon my chat so harder sit, dat ek sit het sagter gewoonlik.
Oh shit.
Nee, het weaving en makkie, dit is meer as geen move.
Mag jy op die straights weave?
Hey?
Wie ek weave?
I will send stuur die